Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Oddworld Munch's Oddysee. I am a Trickster, I'll be your host, LP here, and we'll be playing this game. I'm gonna save all the Mudokons and any other creatures we can possibly save. Munch's Oddysee was released as a launch title for the Xbox, and is the third Oddworld game and the second in the Oddworld quintology. It was a bit rushed, so it's considered mediocre compared to other Oddworld games, but I still like it. It's mostly rose-colored glasses, because I played this when I was young, but I like it. So, let's get started. Pick our slig icon, because I like sligs. If you don't know what a slig is, well, you'll know soon enough. Let's go.
One time, there were lots of us. But that was all before there was any webs. Now, I can't find anybody. My name is Munch, and I've been singing for 'em ever since. But nobody sings back. Until last night. My loneliness was over. I found somebody. Then it happened. It wasn't a gabbard. It wasn't a gabbard at all. Who could do such a thing? Well, I was about to find out. Then what happened?
They took him away to Viker's labs.
Oh, Viker's labs? Poor little schmuck.
So you see, Stitch Lips, if you want to find your brothers, you've got to rescue Munch from Viker's labs.
Oh,
Yeah, but how?
I don't know. You got me.
Find the big well, and then...
Yeah, great. Let's go, guys. We're out of here.
Oh, I could never get what I need. This is too much stress and pressure.
Alright, that's the opening cutscene. If you can't tell by this point, we're going to be playing as Abe, just like the first two games. Or at least you're going to start out as Abe. Good idea, let old players get acquainted to someone more familiar. So, in the 3D environment, Abe can do what you could expect him to do, sneak around, run, jump. Pretty standard 3D stuff for an early Xbox game. You can also interact with these totem pole things. They have little bits of info. You can pause and read them if you want, but it's usually just, how to play pro tip stuff, just what I'll usually be telling you. Abe can also collect these spookstrups, these green things on the ground. I'll get to them in a moment, because right after collecting your first, there's another gameplay mechanic.
Hey, Ed, the
has sent me to help you. So listen up. If you ever find that one-legged munch, you've got to learn how to get around. Starting with this cave right here, right now. See ya.
The shaman is meant to just help you in the beginning of each level, tell you hints and tips. Normally I don't listen to him, but the dialogue is worth listening to, and I like it. He's a pretty alright character, pretty funny. I'll be giving most of the hints as is usual for a Let's Play. Anyway, as you may expect, the spruce shrubs. You see I am collecting them. The spruce shrubs are kind of Oddworld Inhabitant's way of adapting to a 3D environment in which you have to collect a bunch of them to unlock locks, possess enemies, unlock other locks, just a lot of unlocking pretty much. And it gets a bit like a collectathon in some points, but it's really not too bad. It's not like rareware bad. It's just, you know, collect a bit and you'll be fine. You may also notice that there's like a little control pad popping up there. As an early Xbox game, Munch has a weird control scheme in where you control the camera with a D-pad instead of the right analog stick. It's weird. Another good thing about spruce shrubs is that you can regrow them by chanting. Just go near one. See, we only have 48. So we can go near one that's like all tiny and shit. Just press the L button and it'll regrow. You don't even have to wait for the whole animation to end. Just run around for it like an idiot and eventually you'll be able to get it. Then you go up to this spruce lock, press A, and transfer spruce. And with that, we are out of the training cave, Raisin's Cave. Game has a couple of loading screens. I didn't cut them out this time through, but for future videos, we won't be seeing that much of them. I actually like the loading screens, because I like the Oddworld Inhabitants logo. It's a really neat logo. Wow. Okay, that was dramatic. Welcome to Spooksville Forest, where there's going to be a lot of spooks, which will guide the way. That's okay, I know where to go. So, I'm actually here trying to show off how the cave, you can see Raisin's face on it, but camera angle doesn't really let me do that much. Well, that's the best you can do it. Anyway, just like in the other Oddworld games, you can talk to other Mudokons. They're your buddies. Except now there are different types of Mudokons in the game. This is the native, you don't have to save them, they work for you. And they can do things like chant to open doors. Because there's no other way to get out. Not too sure why that happens. Doesn't make much sense. And natives you can upgrade them to be stronger and more powerful, but we'll get to that when we can.
Hey, you managed to get out of the cave. Wow, so impressive. Okay, listen up. Find your lazy Mudokon friends and lead them to the entrance of the big well. Let the spruce shrubs be your guide and heed the wisdom of the story stones. Now get your blue button gear.
They're called story stones, those totem pole things. Whatever, never really bothered to learn what their names are. So you can see a lot of spruce and spruce locks. The first level of the game, still a tutorial level pretty much. It teaches you the bare basics of what we're going to be using that's not platforming. Like calling up a bunch of different Mudokons at once. Just hold Y button and we get them all talking to us. You may notice that we don't have to say follow me like in past games. They just didn't have enough room for the Xbox controller because they need to do other stuff. I don't mind really. And that's a mine. It says don't step on it.
Don't you worry.
You don't want to step on mines. And because of the Mudokons crowding around each other, you don't want them to go through here because they will inevitably step on mines. Now this contraption here is a well. They are ridiculous. I mean, I would like to go in one, but I don't because as you can see, it is a human cannonball, or Mudokon cannonball, or however you want to say it. They're pretty dangerous, but somehow we never get hurt using them, so they're going to be our main form for long-distance transportation.
Okay,
Brings us
get
over
to
here
work.
to these 2 chance circles. Just unlocking more gates. So, with that covered, we're going. We have our quite a little bit of a group here going. You may notice that as we have more Mudokons, the music becomes more and more complicated, to a point where it just gets, you know, just really instrumental. I think it's a nice touch.
You may notice that if one of your friends passes on, you can bring them back to life by giving spoos to this resurrection totem.
Resurrection Totem's pretty simple. Go in front of one. If you have 10 spoos, press A in front of them.
Ew.
You have a new native to work with. They're pretty forgiving about having your fellow Mudokons die,
Okay,
as long as they're
little
native.
grease, guys.
Mudokons that are like, you know, you have to free. If they die, they're dead. You'd have to restart the level or load a quick save or something.
You just hang
Another
on
new,
a while.
very annoying mechanic that Munch's Oddysee introduced is carrying your Mudokons. Now, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but a lot of puzzles in the game are revolved around carrying them like a douche. And there's specific levels, especially early on in the game, where you have to save them by carrying them through very dangerous areas, and it's just not fun. But for now,
Hey, you jump.
we're not even going to go on it, because it's probably the worst part of the game, really.
Okay, get to work.
Now, you may be wondering what we're trying to do. Well, let me take a chance to explain. We are going to Viker's Labs. This much we know. What we're trying to do is we're going to get to the big well. Now, as you may expect, a big well is just a well that is really, really big. And coincidentally, Viker's Labs, which is a floating blimp-like lab, is right over the big well. So we're supposed to go there, jump into the big well, and get cannonballed out into Viker's Labs to save Munch, who somehow is supposed to save Abe, save his bros. Doesn't make much sense, but it's Oddworld, so yeah. And we're supposed to take Munch back to Raisin, who never really gets any sort of backstory. Raisin, I mean. He just kind of shows up out of nowhere. And unfortunately, there's just never really any time for Oddworld inhabitants to flesh out his character.
Okay, listen.
Anyway, you may notice that we interrupted a Mudokon meditating at the top of the cliff. You can screw around with them a lot, and they just won't even notice. You have to actually say hi to them to have them follow you. Anything else, you could slap them to death, and they won't care. They won't get angry or anything.
Be cool.
Of course, I don't see why you'd want to slap them to death, but whatever. As they're saying, yeah, whatever. You can just see. throwing them
Everybody
down.
listen.
This part of the level is, you know, final stretch. We actually just have to collect a bunch of spoofs, and you can hear the music really getting to a sort of groove here. I think it's the most complicated it can get. Once you get up to, like, what, 8 Mudokons, the music is at its most advanced. We still have to get one more. We don't need this many Mudokons, at least until the very end of the level, but right now I'd like to gather them up all the way through, just to be safe.
Hey, what's
This guy
happening?
here.
Hey, what's happening, Abe?
And with that, we can go up. You may notice that I went out of my way to collect some spoofs. Well, on our way to the big well, this gate's blocking us. Now, we can't open it with just normal chance circles. That's not high-tech enough. We need something big. Something advanced for, at least advanced to the Mudokons. So, at the top of this very convenient hill, mountain, whatever, is the Zap Hinge. Let's just take a look here, see what we've got. how to activate it. Very silly way of activating it, but first we need 65 spoons to open it, which is a lot. And you'd probably have to go down and farm for some, if you didn't already, like I did. So, what you're supposed to do is just throw them in the well against their will. I mean, they're not going to do anything. And somehow they know exactly how to work this thing to make it start making zap lights. We have to do this 5 times. And each time will give us nifty little camera angles that you can control. Fun little glitch you can actually do with this is if you throw a Mudokon in and jump right after. You can see Abe jumped in real quick. You can actually get under the well covering, but it doesn't get you stuck or anything. You can just jump out right through it. It's almost like they knew this glitch was there and just didn't bother fixing it. I mean, it's not game breaking or anything, but still. I just do it because it's stupid fun. Not always just like abusing game mechanics like that. And thanks to the Zap Hinge, we were able to open up the gate. You could see our Mudokon bros have been teleported down there, so we don't have to worry about getting them back.
Oh, yeah.
And we can be on our merry way to the big well. Actually, no. This is where the game begins to introduce the RTS-like aspect of the game. It's not complicated, very easy to go through. Maybe some of the later stages in the game would be kind of tough, but especially if you're going for an all-alive run like I am, but
Okay, listen
it's really not that bad, especially here.
Almost there, Abby. Now be careful, because Slick security forces have occupied the lands around the big well. Rich mineral deposits, you know. Are you gonna let a murderous slig and a pack of wild sloths stand between you and a big well? Are you? Huh?
We are not. So you can see at the other side of this gate, which can be opened with chant power somehow, there are sligs and slogs. The slogs being the dog things, and the slig being the humanoid slug mechanical pant thing. Luckily, we outnumber them by like a lot. So when the gate opens, Abe can just say jump them and let the natives do the work for you. You can join in the slap fight, which is literally what this is, a slap fight, but why would you? Fortunately for these guys, this is the last we'll be seeing of them in this level.
Hey, Stitch Lips. Now, you gotta get through that slog run. Don't worry about your buddies. I'll help them catch up to you later. Just get to the tunnel that leads to the big well. Got a boogie?
Munch's Oddysee also introduces vending machines, which is a callback from Abe's Exodus, the second 2D game that had the Soulstorm brew machines, where they power up specific traits of your characters. There's the jump vendo that makes you jump real high up, and espresso, which makes you run real fast. They're actually very neat, and there's some really fun ones to use. They are of a limited time, and you know when they run out when your orange or purple or whatever glow just stops going. But you can re-drink as many as you want, there's no cost or limit. Now you may notice that as Abe gets bit, he doesn't automatically die. Because it's a 3D game, dying in one hit would be really annoying. So instead we have birds that signify our health. And yeah, it's still not that much health, but if you're okay at the game like I am, then you won't have much trouble.
Nice running, Abe. You made it. Now you'll find the big well on the other side of this tunnel. Which reminds me, I wonder how Munch is doing.
That's it for this episode of Let's Play Oddworld Munch's Oddysee. I am Trickster, and I hope you enjoy our little adventure.